Hello, so I realise I haven't done a lighter video in a while, so I want to do one today. So this video is going to be about 3 different lighters that are very cheap. I'd recommend, like cheap refillable lighters. So ones that you can get really cheaply, like less than £1 or $1 per lighter, hopefully. Some of these might be in multi-packs where obviously they cost a bit more, but it should still work out. The price per single lighter is less than $1 or £1. And they're also all going to be refillable ones, so I'm not going to recommend Bics or anything like that in this video, simply because you can't refill them easily, and they need to be refillable. These are all butane lighters as well. So let's start off. Classic clipper lighter. Has 2 features primarily. You obviously do that to light it. Turn it this way, the flame gets bigger. So that's obviously that. You can see how much liquid or butane is in it from the side. You refill it at the bottom with a standard butane sort of thing. You can replace the flints in these if you want to. You can also use this to pack tobacco into a rollie or whatever like that. So all in all, clippers are brilliant little lighters. I've recommended these loads of times, but I can't fault the standard clipper. I like a lot of the collectible sort of metal clippers as well, but the standard bulk cheap plastic clippers are really good for a lighter that again is going to cost you less than £1 or $1 per lighter, and you can refill them. You don't need to use the special butane in these. The cheap butane will work absolutely fine, and these are overall very good lighters for the tiny price they cost. Okay, so what's next? Next we have the TorJet lighters. So again, these are like very cheap disposable jet lighters. So you can check how much fuel's in these, even though they're like a solid plastic on there. If you turn them that way, you can actually see the fuel level at the bottom there. Again, standard butane refillable. And this has got an adjustable jet on it. So to light it, you simply click it open like that. It's piezoelectric. You can probably see the flame there. It goes red after being lit for a while. And how you adjust the flame is there's just a little lever there which you can turn either way. Generally with these, if you put them fully down, they don't light, which is pretty standard with these lighters. But if you put it, say, halfway across, you then get a much smaller flame, and obviously you can adjust it to turn it up or down. But if you light it and then turn it fully down, you do actually get a tiny little flame there, but obviously I'd recommend keeping it in the sort of full position. So these are good because again you can buy them in multi-packs for very cheaply, or individually they'd be less than £1. Now with these lighters, although they're refillable, they're not going to last forever, but the point is you can fill them with a cheap butane and you're still going to get a lot of refills out of it, and it's still going to work out as a very cheap lighter. The advantages, of course, of a jet type lighter is it doesn't really go out in the wind, so that's one of the really good things about them. So yeah, this is my second recommendation, the TorJet style lighters. Now, the third one, I've seen these come under a few different brand names, but the design is always the same, so look for the design, not the brand name on these. So this is again an adjustable jet lighter, but this one is where you can see the fuel level inside there. These are always in sort of like a semi-transparent plastic case. You can get them in all sorts of colours, orange, green, blue, yellow, Get one in a colour where you can see the liquid level inside easily. It refills at the bottom the standard way of all of these lighters. Again, you've got a lever on the front there to adjust the flame level, but this one's angled away from your hand, which is nice. There's no chance of burning yourself. So do that, there you go, there's your jet flame. Again, for the most part they're hard to blow out. If the wind goes into it, it will blow out. And as I said, adjustable flame. So you can, if I can get my nail under there we go, put the flame smaller or bigger. It might not be that obvious on camera that the flame is getting smaller and bigger, but it actually is if I look at it. Now the good thing of jet lighters is they light stuff very quickly, so you're not going to be messing about trying to light to get something to light. Jet lighters light quickly, and I find although they technically use more fuel than something like a clipper, they actually kind of don't, because you only need to have them lit very briefly to light something. You actually end up using less fuel. So This one says Prof on it. I've seen you say Coney before. I think other people have said they've sold them under the brand name Eagle and things like that. But just look for this design. So I'll just get all 3 lighters out to show you at once. But here's my 3 recommendations: the TorJet, the Clipper, and the sort of whatever one you want to call this, the angled jet lighter. But yeah, all of these are really good in terms of being, you know, just cheap lighters that work properly. All of them, as I said, are butane refillable at the bottom. Now, if you use cheap butane, like I said, that's absolutely fine for this Clipper. The TorJet will eventually break anyway, just because of stress on parts and things like that, so you might as well use the cheap butane on it. This one, you may want to use the better butane on it, like the extra filtered butane or the triple refined butane, whatever they call it, because eventually these do gunge up if you use the cheap butane. However, for the low price they cost, it might end up being more economical to use cheap butane in it, use that butane, you know, refill quite a few times, and then when it eventually breaks, just buy a new lighter. Up to you. But as I said, all 3 of these do end up being really cheap, you know, and they are good lighters for what they are. And as I said, this video is basically just recommending really cheap lighters that are refillable. So I'm not because there are probably better jet lighters than this I've got in my collection, but you know, these ones are cheap and they work, so that's why I'm recommending them. So there you go, 3 different cheap jet lighters. Well, this one's not a jet lighter, but 3 cheap butane lighters that should be less than $1 or £1 each, or you know, equivalent in other currencies, euro or whatever, and you know, should last you quite a long time and be good value for money in that regard.